Hey everyone, welcome back to Theory B of 6.4, and we're going to discuss how we can calculate sides using trigonometric ratios. Hey, what is going to be your bread and butter in this paragraph is knowing those ratios. If you do not know them as of now, that's okay. I'm going to discuss one exercise just with this to the side so you can kind of see and hopefully then remember what you have to do. The second exercise, I will leave this out because in the end you should be able to do this without this overview visually in front of you, right? So we're going to practice both here. So let's just take a look. You can use the sine, cosine, and tangents to calculate angles and sides in right angle triangles. The most difficult part of these calculations is often establishing which of the three trigonometric ratios you should use. Indeed it is. The approach in the following example shows you how to find out. Let's try and do those examples together. So for A, I still have the ratios right here. Let's take a look at how we can calculate QR in this triangle right here, PQR. And they give you angle P, and they will give you PR is 4. The first thing that you should do here, or what's the easiest thing to do here, is taking a look at which angle is now given. Well, angle P is given, right? So you know angle P. If I take a look from angle P, I want to know QR and I know PR. Which two sides do I now know if I'm going to take a look at them from angle P? QR is going to be the opposite side, right? Because it's opposite to P. PR is going to be the, hopefully you said, hypotenuse, not the adjacent side. PQ is actually the adjacent side. PR is the hypotenuse because it's the longest side and it's opposing the right angle. If I know the hypotenuse and I want to know the opposite side, take a look at your overview. Which of the trigonometric ratios should I now use? I think because you know PR, the hypotenuse, and you need to calculate the opposite side, I have to now use the sine. Because in the sine, I have opposite and hypotenuse available. I cannot use cosine because I don't know the adjacent side PQ. And here in the tangent, I also need to use the adjacent side, and I don't know anything about the adjacent side of P. So that's why I am now forced to use the sine. Well, forced. Of course, you can also use angle R and then use angle sum triangle and then R, and then you can take a look at R, but that's a lot of extra work, right? I mean, some of those are just mathematically also correct, just a lot longer. Here you're going to take a look at P. I know hypotenuse. I want to know the opposite side. I'm going to use the sine. Fill in this formula now with the sides, right? Fill in the letters. So opposite side is QR, the hypotenuse is PR, and now we have this. And when you have found this, I think you've done the most difficult part of this exercise. Now you just fill in what you know. I know angle P is 22, and we know PR is 4. And if we are here, well, we practiced this a lot already. QR is your variable. So we can now calculate QR by doing 4 times the sine of 22. Type it into your calculator, you find approximately 1.5, right? So that's the length of this one. Now we're going to try and take a look at B, and we're going to do this without this overview here. I'm going to try and help you go through this exercise, but just know, try to practice this without this overview. We know angle B. They want us to calculate BC, and AB is given. Okay, so the first thing that we should now try to do is, what is AB if I take a look from point B as my viewing point? Is it the adjacent, the opposite, or the hypotenuse? Well, I think here it's going to be the adjacent one, right? Because you can say it's adjacent to angle B, and it's not the hypotenuse, because the hypotenuse in this case is the longest side that's opposing angle A. So the hypotenuse here is actually BC, which we also need. And just to be clear, that means AC, of course, is the opposite side, but we cannot use that right now because we don't want to know it. That's one. And we don't know anything about it. Now we know the adjacent side of angle B, and we know the hypotenuse of angle B. Well, just to help you out, let's say you don't know which ratio to use now, and you would be on a test. What you can always just do, right, is write down the abbreviation, either in English or in Dutch. So either SOH, this one, that's the English one, or the Dutch one, SOS, cos, so on. Let's say I don't know what to do. I have an adjacent side and an hypotenuse, an A and an H. A en een H. Or in Dutch, ik heb de aanliggende zijde en de schuine zijde. Hey, I cannot use this one because here I use opposite and here I use opposite. I have to use the C. So which ratio do I have to use here? We're going to use the cosine of angle B. Because then I get cosine angle B is AB divided by BC. Right? So I think for a lot of you who start with this kind of exercises, it can help a lot to write down this abbreviation and just take a look, which two do I know, or which one do I know and which one do I want to calculate. Okay. Then fill this in, AB divided by BC. Here I find cosine of 25 equals 3 divided by BC. Now your variable is down below, don't you worry. Now you should do 3 divided by cosine 25, which is approximately 3.31. Okay. Now we used the ratios to actually calculate sides. We can also use them to calculate angles. That will come later on as well. And again, here you have different ways to do that, right? I mean, if you want to, you can also take a look at it from angle C by doing 180 minus 90 minus 25. But why would you do that? You're making it yourself more difficult by doing more calculations than needed. I think you need to use the quickest way here. And also, you can do stuff with the Pythagorean theorem. Don't do that here, right? You can also calculate AC, for example, and then use the Pythagorean theory. AB squared plus AC squared is BC squared. But then you do something extra, because you calculate the side using the ratios, and then you have to use Pythagorean theorem again. No, just do it in one go. Okay? But just dropping that so you know that you can do it in multiple ways. And that's it. That's 6.4. Practice this a lot. This is going to be the main focus of this chapter and also of the test as well. I wish you good luck, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the lesson. Bye bye.